Coin collectors, and welcome to DC Coin World International Coin Channel. And today we're having one of my favorite coins, the United Kingdom 20p coin or 20 pence coin. These coins first came out in 1982, and it's kind of interesting because before 1982, Great Britain and then the United Kingdom did not have a kind of a middle coin. So they didn't have a quarter or a 20 cent or 20 pence coin or a 25 pence coin. They went straight from the 10 pence coin to the 50 pence coin. And so this in 1982, just because of how money was being valued and what people were buying stuff with, they went to a 20 pence coin. And when they first did it, they just produced a massive amount of them. So in 1982, they did 741 million 20 pence coins. Of course, this is what they look like right here. And let's start with this one, which is a circulated one. And I want to talk today about the 1984 version because that's the lowest mintage year. So I said that they minted 741 million in 1982. Well, in 1984, they only minted less than a tenth of that. So this coin here is of really low circulation. 65.3 million of these were made. And as you can see, when we look at it, it is a it is a jumpy coin. It's Queen Elizabeth II. So at the top it says Elizabeth II. We know this is the Arnold Machin second portrait, where she is wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara with the 2 points in the front and the point in the back. This is a really nice portrait. The Arnold Machin portraits don't have any initials on them, on his portion of the coin. So it says Elizabeth II, and you can see this is an equilateral curved heptagon. In other words, it's seven-sided. But when they say curved heptagon, what they're talking about is we don't have sharp edges here. See how they round the edges? And there are 7 of these. So if we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sides with rounded edges. This, as you can see, is a copper nickel coin, and it has this one has well used. Down at the bottom it says D.G.Reg.F. There's a dot there in D. By the grace of God, Queen and Defender of the Faith. That's what that stands for in Latin. And you can see it's inset. We don't call this incused here, but we call this kind of incused here when it's around the rim. So it's an inset letters here, and then the actual image is inset down into the coin. Just a beautiful way to design this coin. And it by its weight and by its just technical look, it's a nice coin to have. So it says 20 here, and then it says pence here, and 20 in words, and then down at the bottom it says 20 in numbers, the number 20. We see a 19 separated by a crown in 84. So again, this is the one they only made 35 million of these. And there's something interesting about that also, and that is that this particular coin, on the back it's going to be the same for all of these, but the front changes over time. So let's take a look at that. So this is the front or obverse, right, that we're looking at right here. And then in 1985, they came out with the third portrait. Now, the third portrait is a different, it's a RDM portrait, or Raphael David McCloof, and you can actually see his initials. So he was allowed to have his initials on the coin for the third portrait. And then you see she's wearing a different crown, and this is a George IV state diadem here with the fleur-de-lis and the a cross on it. And again, it's inset. So if we look at this one versus this one, she's the queen is getting older, of course, and it's much more of the moving more towards the queen mother, but certainly more towards the mature ruler, or certainly, if not ruler, certainly queen of the country, and figurehead at the least. And I think she's a lot more than that, actually. And then they moved in 1992 to a different portrait, and this is the portrait from 1992. Now you say, well, that's the same portrait. Well, it is still the Raphael David Makhlouf portrait, but look how much bigger this one is. So if we look at the spacing here, if we look at how big the queen's head is in this one versus this one, if we look at the spacing up here around the top of her head, we see how much closer the crown comes up here. So in 1992, you can get two different versions. So that's what was to come, but we really started with this one. And I want to actually look at the other one that we had in there first, because this is a brilliant uncirculated version. You can see this is a circulating version, and it still has all the details, but the brilliant uncirculated version has immense details. And if we look here, it says 20 in pence, 19 separated by the crown, 84. And this is actually a Tudor rose, like Tudor. That's the family of the queen. This crown here, again, we see the cross here and the fleur-de-lis here, and the way that this crown is set up. Now, sometimes they call this a royally crowned double rose. So we see the inside and the outside. We see the thorns here. And then there's an engraver on the back, and this engraver on the back is, his initials are on all of them. It's William Maving Gardner. So we don't have the M, but we have the W there, and we have the G there, each right above a leaf. And William Maving Gardner, we will see his, it's on the 93, it's on the 87, the 93. It just keeps going up and on. So this stayed on the back, but the front portrait changed. All right. Now, if you are collecting these, what years do you want to collect? Well, of course, the 1984 is a good one because they made the least amount of circulating coins in 1984. And 1992 is a good one because it has two different portraits. But the 1984 is pretty nice if you can find an uncirculated version like this, which is worth between $3 and $5 to collectors. If you find one like this, it's worth about 25 to 50 cents to collectors. But this brilliant uncirculated version is the one you're looking for in 1984. And probably the best one of this series. So remember, this came out in 82, so they only had 82, 83, and 84 for these particular coins. All right, well, that's about all we have today from the DC Coinwell International Coin Channel. Again, one of my favorite UK coins. Let's look at some fronts, some backs. Look at that crown there, and look at the different portraits that came over the years. And let me throw this portrait in here, the large, the small 20, and here's the large here. Here we go. All right, that's all we have today from DC Coinwell International Coin Channel. We'd love to have you subscribe to our channel and leave any comments you might have in the comments section.